storm show. Ay, it's a storm show.
So what is up, Storm Chasers? Today I have a R&B artist here that you probably heard of, but you probably wonder what happened to. His name is Trevante. We call him Trey, though he goes by Trey. And if you guys remember back in the early mid 2000s, in the Diggy Simmons era, mindless behavior era, back when we had our black popish R&B type of stars, this man was out here getting it. He was on 1 to 6 in Park. Tank has written for him. I mean, this man has been everywhere. So he's going to tell a story, talk about his new projects, and then we're going to get into some industry stuff too here. So, all right, Trey, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. And so I was like really interested in your story when you reached out because, you told me everything you did. And I said, Trevante, I said, okay, that sounds familiar. I had heard you before, but never knew what happened to you. So let's just start from the beginning. Tell us where you from, man, and how you actually got into music.
Right. Well, I'm originally from Houston, Texas. All my family from New Orleans. And I come from a musical background. As far as my mom did radio for 6 years in Texarkana. My dad was signed to Atlantic Records back in the early '90s with a group called Groove You. My Uncle Walter used to run around and take the artists to the radio stations and, all that type of stuff. So I've always kind of been around it. You know what I'm saying? Always been around it, always just been inspired. I think most kids, most artists, you get in the industry first because you're a fan. You know what I'm saying? And because you're inspired by what you see or, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. So it was no different for me, no different.
Okay. So music was always in your house. And so first off, I know they finna go look for your daddy and see who your daddy is. You ain't got to say his name though, but they definitely gonna look for him. But but I do have to say, I've heard a lot of artists, like especially Prince, for example.
Mm-hmm.
He had just been musically talented. Just I think before the man could even talk, he was singing. You know what I mean? And so let us know, at what point did your parents say, "Oh, he got it"? Like we can't deny it. That boy got it.
Honestly, probably around 5 or 6, when because I would be singing around the houses and with this Michael Jackson, because I loved a lot of old school music, whether it was like Temptations, Jackie Wilson, Frankie Lyman, the Miracles, just a whole bunch of different artists, and I would just listen and study and just sing. And I remember I was singing "Climb Every Mountain," that old Jackson 5 song. And
okay. You was old school.
Yeah, old school.
Okay.
Like I thought the 5 Heartbeats was actually a real movie. You know what I'm saying? Like I cried when I found out it was like it's not a real movie. Like Eddie Kane ain't real. You know what I'm saying? Choir boy. But I was very inspired by Eddie Kendricks and Switch and the Barge and all these great artists. And I would be singing in the shower, and my mom would be like, "Turn that radio off." And I'm like, "It's not a radio, Mom. It's just me." So that kind of thing. And they honestly kind of tried to shield me away from it, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I hear a lot of industry parents that do that, and as a grown man, now do you kind of see why they were trying to like shield you from it?
Absolutely. And it's crazy because I never thought I would be that person to be like, I don't care about I don't even call myself an artist anymore. I'm just a creative. You understand? I just love to create. And when you go through this industry and you go through different things, you're like, wow, it's not even the way it was sold to me. You know what I'm saying? That's not even that. It's one big illusion.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm able to still be here and tell my story. I know a lot of people are probably like, who is he? What does he do? Or where has he been? Or he looks familiar, or the name sounds familiar. But the whole reason of me doing this is because it's all about really what lineage do you come from? What tree do you come from? And once you understand that and you know who you are and you own it and stand in it, you can tell your story. And some people don't, they might not like that, because I've always been an outcast. I've always been to myself. I never followed the trends and the hype. I just rocked how I rock. You know what I'm saying? So
You had well, that's called individuality, and that's something that is like missing in music. To keep it real with you, the artists that are actually themselves and individuals, they don't get the Billboard charts like the
right.
like everybody else that's like a carbon copy of one another. You know what I'm saying? You look at rappers, you like, okay, it's 15 others like you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 15 different dolls. Like
Exactly.
how many people gonna be dolls? You know what I mean? So
Exactly. It's not really, it's not, the industry isn't built for you to be an individual.
yeah.
You know, and that's what I had to find out. It's not, they tell you, oh yeah, we need you to be passionate and yeah, and be this creative and be this artist. Like they'll mention the Michaels and the Princes and these great musicians and artists and creatives, you know, the Kanyes and all this. But truth be told, they don't want that. They don't want that. They want an industry soldier. You know,
Yeah.
they want a Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who just you know, fall in line and do what they're told. You know.
I mean, I definitely agree because if you remember, Prince had called himself a slave at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Tamar has said the same thing. Michael Jackson said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even really let Kanye be creative the way he really wanted because Kanye is on a whole nother planet.
Absolutely.
And so, no, you're absolutely right. They want you to be. This is your order. This is the message you're pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I learned that at a very early age that the industry was like wrestling and like school.
Yes.
You know, it's like it's one big school. And I use the wrestling analogy, by the way. Let me show you the wrestling belt. You know, this is the
Oh, snap.
championship, you know what I'm saying? And it's a story to that, you know, and I've been wearing wrestling belts since I was 9, 10, 11 years old. And it's a state of mind. You know, I was 2 pounds to 2 ounces at birth. So I came out as a fighter.
Yes.
You know, doctor told my mom she wasn't gonna make it and I wasn't gonna make it, you know. And you know, not only did I make it, but I was able to do things, you know, and to inspire. And that's what this whole thing is about. It's about being inspired by people,
Yes.
you know, and you start off as a fan, and then you slowly but surely you becoming yourself. And then it's like now people are looking at you the way you would look at another artist, you know? And
Yeah.
it doesn't hit you until later, you know? It doesn't
But
hit
now
you.
but now looking back, you know, I guess what they say, hindsight is always 2020 because you can see where this person was trying to change you or
Mm-hmm.
this person was trying to have influence. So okay, so let's go back. So let's let the audience know you're 5, 6 years old. Your parents realize he got the gift too,
Mm-hmm.
because it's genetic, man. Like if you got people that sang in your family, you probably gonna be a singer.
Right.
So it just is what it is. And so tell me, you're 6 years old, your parents finally get behind you, you know, as an artist. Tell us what happened.
Well, we were in Houston, Texas, and you know, like I said, I just would do a lot of studying, and you know, I would do some shows around the Houston area, and you know, long story short, my dad started writing songs for me because, like I said, it was, you know, it was in me, so they couldn't stop it, you know. So my dad started writing songs and just, you know, working on my voice, and we did our first show. You remember the comedian Lil JJ?
I do remember Lil JJ.
Yeah. Well, he was like my industry like big brother at the time, you know. He had just won coming to the stage, and you know, I looked at him and I was inspired, you know, again, because it's like, wow, he's young, he's on TV, he's doing it. Of course, you look at 106 in Park and, you know, the Bow Wows and all that. So you like, I want that. How do I get that? And, you know, guys just like, wait and see. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
so we start doing songs and we do a show with JJ. My mom, dad flies JJ out to Houston. We do this show at Texas Southern University. I'm like 9 at this point, 8, 9 years old.
You're 9 years old at this point?
9 years old. Yeah.
Wow. So what year was that?
Oh my gosh. Early, it had to be early 2000.
Early 2000s.
Early
Okay,
2000.
how old are you now?
I'm 27 now.
You're my age. Okay, so that was 01.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So we do that. And that was kind of like my first little taste of it. You know, I remember they showed like a commercial on BET and MTV about the show. It had like a little clip of me in the studio. I thought I was like, oh, you know. So that was like my first little like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And you know, after that, we got contacted from a famous basketball player,
By the
and
name of Dale Davis.
Dale Davis.
Now, okay. And when you first told me that, like, I think it was last week or a few days ago when we spoke, I said, how in the hell did a basketball player get involved with like music? But then I remember that Meg Thee Stallion's, she was on Carl Crawford's label. So I guess you can get into any, I guess the business is, it's business. So anybody can get in it. But that just threw me. So tell us about that experience.
Yeah, well, you know, Dale Davis, you know, he played for the Portland Trailblazers at the time. And we had a song that my dad wrote called Cold World. And, you know, I was 9 singing some heavy stuff, pretty much what's still going on in the world today, you
Yeah.
know. And, you know, I was singing that, and, you know, somehow he had heard it and wanted to, you know, he wanted to sign me and actually did, you know. So my parents and I, we, you know, went to Houston, $1,500 in the dream. You know what I'm saying? Real story.
That's
Packed it
time,
up.
man.
Um, Everything started from there. You know what I'm saying? And I met him, and he wanted to, you know, do certain things with me, and, you know, and just take me here, take me there. But truthfully, I don't think he really knew what he was doing. We kind of figured that very quickly, you know, because he had a lot of stuff going on or whatever. And, you know, so we were just kind of like, all right, let's get our walking papers. Let's, you know what I'm saying? Let's keep it moving.
And when he
And
signed you to a deal, was this a development deal? Like, what kind of deal was it?
you know, I'm not even sure. I would have to ask my mom because, you know, I wasn't even 11 at this time, but it wasn't a development deal. It
Okay.
was almost like this, like I was his artist, and,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
and, you know, I remember just being in the studio early, and to be honest, that was a lot of pressure, you know, because, you know, now all of a sudden you're in this big world, you know, and now you just the expectations, you know, and I kind of felt like the older I got, like, if you're gonna treat me like an adult, then let's have some real adult conversations. Forget the
Yes.
age, because if contracts, you know, is on the table with my name on it and money and this and that, let's have real talk. Let me understand the business. Let me understand what I'm really about to get in.
Yeah, let me
You
understand what I'm signing because once I sign it, then the first thing you're gonna tell me when I have an issue, well, you didn't look over your papers, you didn't send it to an attorney. That's the first thing they say. So they try to rush you, but then they'll talk about your ass later on if you ain't. Yeah.
Like it's so fake, man. And I just got to the point where I was just tired of the fake stuff, you know. And this is at 10 years old. I'm stressing out. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I went through a voice change around the same time. So I went from having this high pitched voice to, you know, kind of sounding like Marcus Houston on the immature third or fourth album. You know, remember when he had the, you know, watch me do my thing, you know, kind of like around that time. But I'm not even 12 years old yet. So, you know, I try to go to school, and, you know, and it was tough, man. I'm not gonna lie, you know. We were damn near, well, I ain't no damn near, we were homeless, you know what I'm saying? We were homeless a few times. And you know, and I remember the night everything kind of changed for me mentally, you know, because I would go to school, and, you know, I had this crush on this girl, and she was like my reason for singing at that point, you know. So I was kind of like Roger, you know, from Sister Sister, but not really, you know what I'm saying? I was more so like, you know, instead of doing my work, I'd be in class writing songs, I'd be writing raps, or you know,
Well,
just
that
what.
was your passion. You know,
Absolutely.
you weren't passionate about what happened in 1875. You like, no, I am
Exactly.
an artist.
That and basketball. Believe it
Okay.
or not, I love basketball, but it's so funny. The more like, you know, I really love basketball. Like that was like a hobby of mine. You know, of course, watching wrestling, playing video games, all that. But I love basketball. But because I wasn't able to do it the way I wanted to, over time, I lost the love for it. You know, and that's kind of like a kind of messed up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because I was on a basketball team at one point, and but when you really dedicate your craft, yourself to your craft, and you really going hard, some things are gonna slip through the cracks, So
It's natural because you're human, man, and it's like we like to tell ourselves we can multitask, but there's nothing like giving your all and mastering something and then expanding. So you're human, man. Something had to give.
absolutely. So yeah, so I remember just thinking, I remember looking at my family crying. We were in a hotel room and everybody was crying, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I'm young as hell. I'm just like looking, I'm just like, my sister's crying, I'm just like, wow, it's really on me.
Yeah.
Like it's really on me I have the opportunity and the gift that God has blessed me with to change the situation. And that's what I did. So from that day forward, I remember looking at my family and I was like, it's not gonna be like this. Like I'm gonna change this. Like we're gonna fix this.
Good.
And that's what happened. So, from there, you know, and by the way, I told you I'm doing a documentary. And this is what this whole thing is about. I'm doing a documentary because I'm just the example. This is just my story. And my story is crazy, but it's so many other people, And I feel like us as young stars and as young artists in general, excuse me, we kind of get looked over
Oh yeah.
with the influence that we brought to the table. You kind of pass it off, oh, they're young, but that's just the 106 crowd. Or they, no, we actually brought some ideas and creativity to the industry that I see now.
Especially in the white pop and popish R&B people. Like you got a certain artist, Justin Bieber. Like I ain't trying to be funny, but that's kind of like okay. Let's just keep it real, bro. Let's keep it real. When it comes to the white artists, we all know that their business plan is to make them urban and then take them back pop. You didn't dress like that from the beginning. Pink, Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears. You know what I'm saying? They start off black, have that wild out phase, then they go back white. But it's like, but you copied off of us. But somebody like you wouldn't get your credit for something that you originated. But if I take you and I take a white guy that I can make like kind of sound like you, I can get rich off him.
I started professionally when I was 11 years old.
Right.
Now, when I say professionally, I mean my mom started an independent label, the family. We called it Sell Some Records, because that's what you want to do, sell some records.
And y'all sold, what, 80,000 units, right?
80,000 units independently. And you have to remember, this is at a different time. There is no Twitter. There is no social media. There is no nothing. This was when MySpace was coming up. This is when you still had AIM Messenger and Yahoo music videos and, music choice.
Right.
This was very early, when you had, certain outlets. You had 106, you had Radio Disney. People forget how important those are, like key factors. Those were blueprints.
Yes.
For a lot of artists, not just young artists, a lot of artists in general. I don't care if you was Destiny's Child. At some point, you was going to the Kids' Choice Awards, the Radio Disney Music Awards. Why? Because the youth is where it's at.
Yes.
So professionally, 11 years old, came out with a song called That Girl, which was written and produced by my father. And we got major distribution with FYE, the FYE store. So again, it's a different, and no disrespect to my peers or anybody like that, but it's just different. I didn't get a record deal or I didn't get noticed doing covers. I didn't do, and that's no shade to nobody because hey, it works.
It does. It
works.
does, but that wasn't your story.
Right. It wasn't my story. And it's not that it couldn't have been. I've always looked at it like if I'm gonna do a cover, and I tell my group members this now. If we're gonna do a cover, let it be something that's unexpected. Don't do something that's so typical that everybody's gonna do. Do something that people might not even really know is a cover. That's why it's always good to go way back.
I agree because the hits way back or a hit for a reason, and so even if you cover it, it's still gonna be. I mean, Kanye made a whole career off of remixing beats from like the 40s. Like I'm just saying,
right?
Like a lot of those beats you can find from the 40s and 50s. So he's smart. So you're right. You gotta really dig. But when you're actually an artist, you know all types of music, so you can do that.
Exactly. And again, like I said, everybody's journey is different. And I respect the people who have been able to do that, but it's just different, at this time, back then. The people who were out and who were influencing, because remember, you got to put yourself in a different mindset and a different perspective. This is a different time, where comments mattered a little bit more. It was a little bit, it was newer.
Okay.
And so when people had an opinion, it was like, okay, now everybody can just say, which is fine. But back then, it kind of wasn't like that, So Chris was on the come up.
Chris Brown.
Brown. Bow Wow. Bow Wow was and is and forever will be the face of our generation because of the work he put into.
Yes.
That's why I go so hard for Bow Wow. And, because he was the face. Just like Mom's Behavior was the face of the second era.
Yes. He was the first. Man, we have to really, it's two people in this game that don't get the respect they deserve. Well, it's many, but two I can think of off the top of my head. It's Bow Wow and Soulja Boy.
Exactly. And I have the most respect for both of them.
Yes. They were innovative. They were different. Bow Wow came in the game as a little kid and was able to entertain huge crowds of grown-ass people. Millions. I think Bow Wow got stuck with the kiddie label. And also with him, I hate to say it because I'm short too, but also like when you're a short male, you're not seen as an adult. Like you can be 40 years old and people still think you're 22. So he got stuck with that. And then Soulja, I don't know what happened to Soulja Boy, but yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, and then people always say, they get to, get dictate over, what's lame and this and that. And it's like, you know what? Everybody's lame. If you look at somebody in their own way, if you go to his house, I'm sure it's gonna be something like, I don't really like that.
Right.
And it is what it is. They just have a gift and a talent that can, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it never bothered me when people call me that, or if they call me that, or if they look at me that way. I'm cool. Like it's fine. Like because I know who I am. And again, going back to what I was saying, sometimes when you know who you are, people don't like that.
Explain.
Especially if they don't know who they are.
Okay.
And I learned this in elementary school because I didn't get a chance to go to middle school or high school, but I seen enough. I was homeschooled. It's okay. I've seen enough. I know what it is. It's the same thing.
You didn't miss none. I promise.
Well, the thing about it is I used to get thrown in the trash cans, for being unapologetically me because I wasn't like him. I didn't think the way he thought, or nah, this how I rock. Oh,
Yeah.
that's the bully. So I'm supposed to be scared of the bully because he's labeled a bully. I just work here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I'm trying to do my thing.
So
So
basically, because you were yourself, you had to fight to be yourself, even in school.
exactly. And I fought. I got suspended. I got, had hitting the teachers and all type of crazy stuff. And it was never like, why won't y'all listen? It was more so like, I'm just being me. I don't know what his problem is, but I'm just being myself,
Yeah.
And when I got in the industry, I said, oh, it ain't no different, And, you learn that very early and it's all good. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, 11 years old, we put that girl out, did, major distribution. We're doing all these shows with B5 and, Bow Wow, all these different people. And it was really cool. I was in the Word Up magazines and, it was really dope. And, then Tina Davis, Chris's people reached out.
Chris Brown's ex-manager. Yeah. When people hear Tina Davis, it's gonna come back to him. Think Grammy night and all that 2009. Okay.
I mean, hey. And if it wasn't her, then it was somebody from his team, but they reached out to us. And this was in 05, 06. I had a song called Baby Girl that got, heavy play on Music Choice. And, I hit #1 on the Billboard Hot R&B Hip Hop single sales and, a few times and beat him out the chart, for that specific chart and for that moment or whatever it was. And it's funny because, on the outside looking in, you probably like, nigga, please. You understand? But it's so much stuff that goes on behind the scenes that people just wouldn't even know or believe, And that's why I'm doing it. Because it's not just about me. Like I said, I'm just the example. Because it was so many ideas and so many different things that came out of these eras. 3 different eras I've been through. And that's what the documentary is about. From 11 to 14, doing the Radio Disney and the Music Choice and all these different things. B5, they're not respected enough either.
I agree. I agree, and we still really don't know like their story. But speaking of Disney, what all did you do with Disney? Was it just radio, or did you do any acting too?
I had opportunities to do acting.
Okay.
It's not.
Chose not to.
It wasn't in me. I mean, honestly, it was a part of me. You know what I'm saying? Disney wanted to do. They wanted to give me. We were talking about doing the show. I had the same TV and film manager as a lot of big Hollywood people. This guy did a lot of huge shows from the Parkers, Proud Family, Moesha. He was my TV and film manager. And
did you want to say his name? If not, we can leave it out.
Yeah, we'll leave it out. No,
we'll leave it out.
Ralph Farquhar.
Okay, because they can be like, who? Okay.
Ralph Farquhar. Yeah, look him up. He did a lot. And believe it or not, my first acting coach was Tiffany Haddish.
Now, when you say that right there, okay, I right off the top of my head, I think, okay, let's go to Tiffany Haddish. I can double back to that. Uh-huh. How was it working with Tiffany Haddish as your acting coach? Like, how was she?
She was cool. You know what? Because I had to do an audition for Disney. They had me reading, the Corey in the House script. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. And they tell me, hey, we're gonna go meet with this girl. She's gonna coach you on some things. Her name is Tiffany. So I'm like, okay. And then I met her, and so when I see her doing all that stuff, it's like, yeah, that's Tiffany.
That's her. That's her real personality.
That's Tiffany. Like she's just always been that person from the time I met her, and she was cool, and she was,
nice and, supportive, and she's just like, go in there and just do this and da 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 and just own your shit and just, what I'm saying, talking to me like that. And I'm just like, all right. And I did, I went in there and I did that and got a really good response. And, but, that was a rough time for me because at that point I had went to LA and was doing straight acting.
Okay.
And I always wanted to sing,
Are you living a hectic and stressful life? Between the news and racial stress and trauma, do you find yourself feeling alone and anxious? If so, join our community, Mind, Body, Faith, and learn how to establish daily practices that aid in healing the mind, body, and spirit, like meditation, yoga, prayer, breath work, and journaling. Pause and let your spirit breathe by using our meditation prayer cards and meditation candles when you need to reconnect with God. Start on your new path by taking our meditation quiz, because it's always a good time to meditate with God.
You know what, Storm? I'm gonna say this. It's the industry just is what it is. And the older you get, you realize that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is some bullshit.
Right.
But it it's a game. And they don't tell you that it's a game. You don't even realize that you're playing a game. The game is called the industry. This is my perspective, my opinion. But when you just go through things and you see, like we were talking about Bow Wow and all these people play key parts, but it's kind of like it's overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about every era that I've been a part of. Like it's just kind of been overlooked. It's like you see it, but you don't really see it.
And so when you say a game, okay, every game has a goal. So what do you think the goal of the industry is?
To just keep players, to keep the game going. It's like it's never ending. Almost like Jumanji or some shit.
Oh, slavery, like slavery.
Hey,
yeah,
let's work here.
Yeah. Because I'm like, yeah, their goal is to make money, but their goal is also to influence, and so
Right.
they
Exactly
new people to push whatever narrative they're trying to push.
So if I'm a company and I want to influence, and you're an influencer and you have people, how am I going to get Storm to cater to what I need him to do?
Yes.
Even though Storm has already been grinding, making his name, going through the chitlin circuits. I know you've heard that before.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through it, and that's where you become your first version of yourself. It's like a video game, man. It's like Mortal Kombat, any of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You pick your character. See, it's a character. It's a character. And the industry is full of characters. I was just myself.
I get it. I get it now. That's what they mean when they always say he or she didn't want to play the game. Like they said the same thing about Monique. She didn't play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, which means not be yourself and do as you're told.
Do what I want you to do. If I'm putting up the money and I'm going like this,
yeah,
and it's even worse for young artists because we come with this so much with this influence and these ideas. Kim Porter did my first photo shoot.
Tell us how it was working with Kim Porter and how that came to be.
Well, this is when we were independent, and the industry is small. It's very small. That's why it's hilarious to me when you see people and you meet them like 12 times. It's like, nigga, I'm not shaking your hand no more.
I know you now.
I know you.
Yes.
You know me, or you know of me.
Right.
You know, like even like, you know, Bobby V, you know, we did a show a couple years, maybe like 2 years ago, you know, Q from 112, the shout out to 112. They really rock with Bluff City. They're like really the only group I would say that OG group, and we met them all, Drew Hill, you know, Silk. Shout out to all the groups who paved the way for Bluff City and for all the groups to come. But
Nice.
112, I believe, Slim, Mike, Q. Haven't sat down with Deron yet. But Slim, Mike, and Q really sat us down and took us under our wing. And that's some whole other shit, you know. And that's what I always wanted to do, was be in the group, you know. So again, I was being myself, but it was just one version, because I always seen myself doo-wopping and, you know, and doing the temps and the New Edition and, you know,
coming in, singing on my microphone.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but it didn't work like that at first. You know, it was just like, no, this is what it is. And I was cool with it because I love the creativity and I love that part of it. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it was so much that came with it. Yeah, but in going back to Kim Porter, you know, we were in Atlanta. Atlanta is small. The industry is small. And, you know, she had, you know, her and it was called the Three Brown Girls.
Okay.
You can look them up, you know, when they did makeup, you know, clothes, all that. They styled me for my whole first photo shoot. The name of my album was going to be called Music in Me, Music in Me, because I was the kid with the old soul.
Okay.
So again, it wasn't really a gimmick because it was really just me being me.
It was you.
Right. And shout out to Corey and Sammy and everybody who came before me, you know, because I remember seeing Corey with the Kango, you know what I'm saying, a few times. But I know at that point, nobody else was doing it. You know, you can, you know, research and you'll see, you know, some pictures, you know, and again, we are all inspired. You know, I know Chris loves Sam Cooke. You know what I'm saying? He loves the old school like I love the old school. And the reason why I keep bringing Chris up is because it's a dynamic there. It's a, you know, I feel like by the time we got to the Mindless Diggy era, OMG Girls, all that, it didn't matter who you were. We need another Chris.
Okay. You mean as far as the industry, they were like, okay, for the next one coming up. But okay, let's back up and let's say this too. When it comes to
I know I'm bouncing around.
no, you're fine. You're fine. They'll be able to follow. When it comes to the industry, if you black, it's like there can't be 5 black successful R&B singers at the same time. It got to be one, just one, and then they have their reign, and then another. Same thing with black comedians. Same thing with black female rap. Same thing with black actors. Like, so when you say, yeah, once he was very successful, then it was like, well, we need another Chris. But you can't do that because only Chris is Chris.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, exactly. And you had people, you had the Marcus Houstons, you had Neo, you had, you know, it was some people out there. You had Trey Songz, who was on the come up with Gotta Make It.
Yes.
You know, which was to me the most authentic Trey.
Yeah, because after that first album, I mean, I think the second or third is probably my favorite, but
absolutely.
But now people are not listening to him like that. But his audience is older now, so it's kind of weird. He's in that weird spot. But yeah,
right. And even if it wasn't his most authentic, it came from a soulful place. It was the struggle. It was the come up. Gotta make it. The title says it all. You know what I'm saying? He could have been, you know, doing the Reddies. And even on that album, he still had the sexual records and all that, but he let you know it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
He had Aretha Franklin on his intro. Why isn't that talked about? You want to talk about R&B?
That's real R&B. Yeah, you're right.
You know, for a debut album, Trey, this is Aretha. Like, you know, like.
But the way the industry is, man, it's like they got to turn you into a sex symbol. So they made them do some sit-ups, and then it's like, okay, now it's all about sex.
Right, and that's fine. And that's fine. You know, like I said, I myself, I love Bobby Brown. I love Rick James. You know, these are people who I grew up listening to, you know, but at the same time, me personally, you know, you get into the industry and you don't start thinking about it till later. You like, yo, I'm not cooning.
Are you looking for a great opportunity? Would an extra $1,000 a month help you? What about $5,000 or even $20,000 a month? Would that make a difference in your life? What if I told you there is a company that is training people every day how to earn a daily income as well as a weekly income? Yes, you can get paid in 2 different ways. No prior experience required. Training is provided and you can start right away, but you must be 18 years or older. You can work from almost anywhere globally. The company's top pay scale is $1 million a month. There are thousands of people worldwide who are joining this company, and within just a few months are earning more than their yearly salary. You can set your own hours, be your own boss. Training is available every day and so much more. And there are thousands of independent business owners earning money every day and every week.
It's a difference between being freaky. I'll be freaky on stage all day. That's what I'm saying. If you go back to those eras, go back to the mindless era, I was very freaky. We were put in the box with, oh yeah, we're kids. I was 18. You know, when by the time Be My Girl was on 106 and we went on tour and, you know, Be a First and Forever and all those records, I was, you know, and then, you know, real talk, nobody had videos like that. Be a First and Forever, part 1 and part 2, 2 videos directed by Benny Boom, you know, at that time.
It's huge. Like, if you don't know who Benny Boom is, you've seen this stuff, I promise.
Absolutely. Grew up on Benny Boom's work. You know, and that's what I'm saying again. And it's not about you being a fan. You look at it. See, the problem is when niggas is too passionate and they got that Kanye vibe and they speak how they feel. People don't want to hear that.
Yeah,
they don't want to hear that. You know, and truthfully, that era was super clean. You know, you got to dance, you got to smile. You know, you wouldn't really. You know, a girl got shot in my video.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, is she alive? You know, shout out to Paige Heard, Pinky, you know.
Yep. Those were the days when music videos told a story and you could follow it. Nowadays, we see a music video and it's just like, this ain't nothing but satanic symbolism. You know what I'm saying? Like, this means nothing but trash. But back then, you actually had a storyline.
And it's so funny you say that, because when you're in a situation and they see you, they're going to let you know in their own way that they see you.
Okay.
And
when you say they,
I just work here.
We got to say it on this show. After Jaguar said, we say,
"See my nails." You know, I thought about saying that. Do I say? I mean, hey. I mean, listen.
But they have certain ways of letting you know, like, we got our eye on you.
Yeah, they have this list called the Who's Looking list. When you get signed, it's like a press release that goes out to everybody in the industry. And they're like, okay, we looking at you.
Okay.
And by that point, we had got off tour, was making some noise. We dropped Be a First and Forever. But I remember at the video shoot, I go into the, you know, the room, I'm looking at the clothes or whatever. And they had a certain shirt. If you look in that video, I have a shirt on that says High Power.
Okay.
And that's what happens when you play with fire. See, I would do things to test it to see, because I'm like, okay, I know what it is, but I was kind of in denial. I was like, it can't be. Like, no.
Where is High Power from? I can't think of it off the top of my head, but
I mean, that's just the saying that, a certain group of people say. I mean, a lot of people say it, your higher power, but this specific shirt, was a little, I put it to you this way. My mom was like, get that shit out of my house.
Okay. Yeah, because there was a shirt that Jay-Z wore that had a saying, be thou will or do what
Yeah,
some
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I know about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's from Anton Levy. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. Alistair Crowley. I know him.
Oh, Alistair Crowley. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was not gonna get that book.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
So were you ever approached by these people?
the funny thing about it is it's weird because it's like, yeah, probably. You know what I'm saying? Because you meet certain people and they act a certain way, or you don't even think that they know you. Like even going back to Kim Porter, like she did my very first photo shoot. I'm doing shows with B5. What's the connection to that?
Oh, we're gonna get into that connection. We're gonna get into that connection because
What's the connection?
later on in your career, well, wait, let's back up first.
Mm-hmm.
How did Manny become your manager, which is Keisha Cole's ex-manager? How did that come to be?
Well, I did. What happened? So we dropped Baby Girl #1. This is after, and I'm leaving a lot out too. Sierra came to the table at this point. Daryl Simmons, which was the silent partner for Babyface and L.A. Reid, he came to us at this point.
Okay.
Everybody wanted to do something with me. Again, we're still independent at this point. So from 05 to 08, we were just doing the independent thing. FYE stores, mall shows. I was a part of 1900, kids going back to school with book bags, a part of this organization. Doing different things around that time.
Nice.
Did the Radio Disney's incubator. So all this happened in that time span. 08 comes and I say, the Disney stuff, the acting, all that. So I'm like, I want to get a major deal. That's what I want. I want to, it's kind of like what my bro Kui say. He said before he signed the Cash Money, he felt like I've done what I needed to do on that level as an independent. Like I don't think that road is ended as far as being independent. Now it's like, okay, let's go to level 2.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of what happened. So, go through somebody, meet somebody, and I meet my manager, Rod Bullock.
Now we know Mr. Rod from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Yes, you do.
And the fake storyline.
Yeah. So
it's a job, people. Entertainment is a job. Stop thinking reality is real. All right, go ahead.
It is definitely a job. So yeah, I meet Rod Bullock and we start working and I meet Coach K. He starts working with me, and all these people, if you don't know, you just look them up and Coach K, he's connected to the Migos, QC now, but back then he was known and probably still known for managing Jeezy and Gucci and all that, so that was around the time I met him and was working with him. So yeah, so we were working and doing records. I did a song called Young Love. And at that point, it got the attention of Keisha Cole.
Okay.
So people just listen to me and kind of look at it from a different perspective. Because again, it's like if you a dancer and you see whoever your favorite dancer is on TV and you like, I want to do that. Or I want to meet her.
Yes.
I put my whole family on Keisha Cole. And this is why it's so important to pray and to speak things into existence and to walk in your faith and walk in who you are and know who you are. Now, mind you, all the way up until this point, I had my long, my ponytail and, I just had a different vibe, is what I'm saying. Walked around with the wrestling belts, because I had a wrestler mentality. Because when you go out on that stage and when you walk, this is my ring. I'm the champ. It's a state of mind. It's deeper than just the wrestling belt.
And it's going to push you to perform at your very best every single time.
Absolutely.
Because wrestlers in every different city, they are expected to bring the same shit. They brought it in Iowa City. You better bring it in New York too. You better bring it in so I get that.
Yamaya's Gift is a brand that specializes in medicinal herbs and all natural supplements to help alleviate a lot of conditions that Americans suffer from, okay? Now, Yamaya's Gift got products to help you with that hypertension, to help speed up that weight loss, get rid of them fibroids, as well as help alleviate the symptoms of that diabetes. Oh yeah, that sugar is real bad. So now with Yamaya's Gift, you get a lot of gifts, but the best gift that anyone could ever give you is the ability to heal thyself from the inside out with products like elderberry syrup to help keep that immunity in check, because we all fighting Miss Rona. We all trying to windmill her ass up out of our lives. But one of my personal favorites, as a matter of fact, two of my personal favorite products with Yamaya's Gift is the all natural honey and the tea that's for men. And the reason why I like those products is because if you are somebody with a low sex drive, if you need a boost in the bedroom, and if you are ready to get Brian Pumpered, Lexington Steeled all night long, then just put some of that in your man's cup and you will be on your way to a happier, healthy marriage, all right? Now, place your orders today, whether you need your immunity taken care of, you're trying to lose some weight, you're trying to get rid of that sugar, the diabetes, or you're just trying to bust a nut, okay? Order her shit at www.yamayasgift.com.
Absolutely. And you turn your character on,
Yes.
you know, and, so that was the thing about it. So, at that point, we're doing this, Keisha heard the song and she loved it. Shout out to, Keisha's niece, because she's the one who actually was like, Brianna, she's like, which is Neffy's daughter, she's like, she just was, she loved it. She was a fan and it was awesome. So, and we all got close. We all got super cool. Neffy, Solo, the whole family, So I'm thinking I'm about to sign to Keisha. I'm like, because that's what I was told. As in Keisha, she's like, don't change nothing. You good.
Right.
I was 15 at this point. And, next thing you know, her management comes in and, takes over. It sounds good. It felt good. You know what I'm saying? Meaning what was presented, the opportunity. And at the time, Keisha was on her third platinum album in a row. She just coming off the album with I know you've seen a lot of things in your life. The one with
yeah. That was, she was at the top of her game.
For you, baby. You know what I'm saying? It was,
yeah, Heaven Sent. That was my stuff.
Yeah.
She was. Oh man, that was like sophomore high school. All the girls sung that. Yep.
Yeah, she was, you know what I'm saying, at the top. And, we're going out. I'm going to my vocal coach, Mama Jan, who was also Justin Bieber's vocal coach at one point, Usher as well. So I'm going to her. We're asking people. We're like, hey, what you think? You know what I'm saying? And they're like, oh yeah. Like it's, you hear all these good things and
about men. You were hearing good things about men.
Correct.
Okay.
And then once things go sour, yeah, man, because he did this. It's like, where was you? Well, what? You know what I'm saying? So, but you got to learn for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the thing about it. People ain't gonna have your back like that. You would think, because we coming off of when I say we, I mean my family. My mom, my dad. Sell some records. We coming off of it like we didn't know that you had to be disloyal. We didn't know that you had to actually step over him, or they expect you to, or that's what you should do.
Oh, they expect you to be shiesty, not to. But basically, what you're saying is, in this industry, you can't take anybody's word to mean anything.
No, they can tell you one thing, and then next day act like they ain't even say it.
Yeah,
it's like, but what you said? No, I don't recall. It's all on you at the end of the day, and the opportunities that's given, and that's the thing too. I hear people say, oh, people put people on. my opinion, you can't put nobody on. You can give them an opportunity. And if they take to, use that opportunity and, do something with it, then it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you can put somebody out there like 50 going north, but if people don't like them, or if there's nothing to them, it ain't gonna last. So yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing about it is, he's a good guy. And I've spoken to him this year. I have no problem with nobody, but
Okay.
I'm gonna tell my truth. I'm gonna tell my story, because this can help other people and just people who want to get in the business. It's like, okay, well, just know what it is. If at any age, what I'm saying, I was just young. I was blessed enough to be young enough to actually go through it and be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But I
Right.
would not advise kids to be in this industry.
I agree, because you're still trying to figure out who you are, and if the industry shapes you into who you are, you get grown one day and realize you still don't know who you are, because that ain't even really you. It's horrible. Not to mention all the predators and the pedophiles. It's bad. And so so you signed with Manny. Things seem to be going good. At what point did you meet Diddy?
I met Diddy in 2009.
Okay.
Because what happened was I got with Manny, set up a meeting with Geffen Records with Ron Fair. And if you don't know who Ron Fair is, he signed Keisha Cole. Keisha Cole was signed to Geffen Records, Geffen A&M. So kind of just kind of follow me, because it all works together.
Yes.
I didn't notice at the time, but so we go to Ron Fair. I'm 15 years old. Had 4 records. This is post Bieber, pre Bieber, and he was like, he liked it. He was like, "Are you trying to be Disney? Or are you trying to be a real artist?" So, he passed on that. He was like, he's like, I like it. He's like, I'm not saying it's not good or it's not something here, but let me think about it, was his words. So I'm like, so I go back to Manny. I'm like, he ain't like it. And he's like, no, it's gonna be good. Like, he likes you. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't even say that. So at that point, 2009 hits, right? Chris Brown goes down.
With the Rihanna incident, yes.
Around February, early 2009.
Yep.
Also that same year, Michael Jackson dies.
Sure did.
Okay. Also that same year, Jason Derulo rises up. Also that same year, Trey Songz comes out with Ready, which is his career-changing album.
Damn, I hope they can put 2 and 2 together with that. Do you think they're gonna be able to put 2 and 2 together, or do I need to explain it a little more?
You can, do what you need. By all means.
I'm as he answers the phone, I'm gonna just say this.
Oh, no.
When it comes to the industry, pretty much somebody has to go down to make room for somebody else. If you catch that drift, certain people have to go away so other people can get to where they need to get to. So there's no coincidence that people go through things. They either ends or changes the course of their career, and then somebody else skyrockets. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead with the data story. Okay.
Well, so basically, at this point, My Shine comes out 08, 09, and I want you to pay attention, and kind of, if you just go back and look at certain videos, hear certain artists, certain songs. I'm not saying no names, but just if you hear certain songs and artists at that time, it was very Chris-like. And that's not a bad thing, because everybody is inspired and all that. But at the same time, when it's other motives, you know what I'm saying, it kind of hurts you.
Yeah.
Without even knowing. So all that happened. And around August, I'm out in LA working with a very important pop producer by the name of Diane Warren. and she's written for, the Barge, Christina Aguilera, all these big people. I do 2 records. I'm at the airport, got a layover, get a call. Hey, go back home, rest up, but you got to turn back around, be back here tomorrow night, work with Chris Brown.
Bad bitch, are you a bad bitch? Are you a bad bitch? Is you a savage? Now, whether you are a bad bitch or whatever you want to refer to yourself as, I am here to talk to you today about a book called Bad Bitches and Power Pitches that is authored by Precious Williams. Now, one of the biggest differences in life between you and your competitors, I don't give a damn if you're going for a promotion, if you're trying to sell your business or anything, is the ability to effectively communicate. Precious Williams comes from St. Louis, Missouri, which is the home of it being hot in here, St. Paul sandwiches, vet sodas, and the best Chinese food on the damn planet. And she has went from the slums of St. Louis to being able to show you how to elevate your life simply by using the gift of gab. Now, Precious Williams' book has been featured on Forbes, CNN, Black Enterprise, and the Storm Monroe Show. And what I am telling you guys is that you need to hit that link in the description box so you can cop a copy of her book today.
Wow.
So I said, okay. So what happens? My father.
Okay.
So, hey, Daddy. Doing an interview. So what happens is, I get to the studio 3:00 in the morning, and it's just me in there. They say, okay, Chris has to, sleep because he was meeting with his attorney. This was right when it was very heavy, and so I cut the record, called Flatline. The next day he comes in the studio, him and his manager at the time, and they come in and we vibing, and he's like, yeah, don't change nothing, it's just dope. And we start on this other record called Out of Sight, Out of Mind. So we're in there just vibing, and it was just such a good vibe, but it wasn't like I'm trying to be you or step on your toes. It was a mutual respect, because mind you, like I said, Chris has known me since 11, 12 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it was literally like 2 artists making music, not like him trying to turn you into something, you trying to copy. It was just, this is Chris, this is Trey, doing your own thing, but together. So I assume you had a good time working with him.
I did. And the thing is, I wouldn't let it. Like the thing is, when you're an artist, you have to bring people into your world. It's okay if they don't understand it. Like this interview, people might not like it or understand it or like me, but it's okay. But I'm just showing you what it is, and you could take it for what it is,
Right.
So, that was the thing with Chris. We always had a mutual respect for each other because we thought the same. Of course, I'm not a dancer like that. I never looked at myself like that. But creatively, we kind of, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of like the Mike and Prince thing, you know what I'm saying? Like how they respected each other, and it was like, people was like, oh, but like everybody's trying to be Michael. No. Prince is Prince.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like that. So
Prince was Prince and Michael was Michael, but they both own their own lane. They both did.
Absolutely. Exactly. So, and at the time I was Trey. So we do the records, all that's cool. We go to Houston, Manny and myself. We go see Keisha. I'm in the studio with Keisha, just chilling. Manny comes to my room. He says, hey, we're gonna go meet Puff tomorrow. And I'm like, whoa, and it was crazy because, again, when you look at the making the bands and 112, Danny Kane, Mace, Carl Thomas, Shine, like, what I'm saying? See, that's the problem. When you're too passionate and you care about the culture, they don't want you to care about the culture, because if they cared about the culture, we'd have another 3LW. If they cared about the culture, we'd have another we would have different versions of that. We would have a Bow Wow. We would have, you know what I'm saying? We would have that. Yeah, we got Ariana, but they not even letting her be herself.
Yeah, and she still sounds like a black girl to me, but that's just my opinion.
Right. So anyway, so we go meet Puff. We go to the Hamptons, and that was a very interesting, overwhelming experience because that was the day I realized that everything is connected and everything kind of works hand in hand, you know. And I won't go too deep into it. I'll leave it for the doc. But what I will say is he really wanted to sign me, really wanted to sign me, and I felt that. This is right when he was starting Dirty Money.
Okay. With Kalina and Dawn. Gotcha.
And
you would have been great in that group too. I just thought about that.
Right. Well, at the time, I think he had other plans,
Yeah.
I think he had other plans. And and the funny thing is, I'm sure Jacob and Juwan and everybody was around, but I didn't see them. Just like they didn't see me. I didn't see them until we all were placed on 106 in Park.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I remember going, like, after that meeting with Puff. I had 2 meetings with Puff. First meeting was at the Hamptons. The second meeting was at the Interscope building.
Now tell us about that. Was for the Halloween party, right?
No.
Oh, that's another. Okay. Tell us about the second meeting with us.
Well, I mean, it just felt good because I was like, wow, I didn't. That's when I knew. I said, wow, he's serious, because he would tell Manny, I want him to be the face of Sean John, and I want him to do this and that. And, Manny would tell me certain things. He never would tell me the full story. He never would, never. And I would ask him, I'd be like, hey, like, I want the details, what I'm saying? Like, what are you guys talking about? And it's just like, that was an interesting meeting. It was some very important people at that meeting.
Okay.
And
like Jimmy Iovine?
Yeah, he was at the meeting.
I don't know if you know, but he was actually at the same meeting for Dirty Money when Diddy was pitching that. And he actually was like, yeah, I love the girls, but can you get like Cassie to just sing their lyrics? I mean, to just mimic their voices, because he wanted it to be a light-skinned girl. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, Puff was at Atlantic at that time. And the problem was, in my opinion, once he said, I'm going over to Interscope, that was when everything changed as far as, Imani Entertainment and,
So that was Manny that said he's going to Interscope, or was that Diddy?
Diddy said, I'm going to Interscope. Diddy was at Atlantic at that point.
Okay.
And Manny is Interscope because Keisha is Interscope. Effing A&M, Ron Fair.
Yes.
So once Puff said, hey, I'm going over there, it kind of made things go a little sour.
Okay, as far as your career.
As far as my career, right? Like, I'm sure they still talk. I'm sure they cool, and and that's the thing, when you meet people and it's like, wow, this person say this about this person, but they still buddy, like, yeah, man, we're good. I'm like, this is crazy,
Because to me, if you screw me over, I'm kind of like, I'm like,
you would think so.
I'm gonna avoid you if I can.
Yeah, but again, this isn't the industry for that. They like it when you fake.
Yeah, you're right about that.
They like it when you fake it. I've met so many people so many times. I've spoken to people so many times, and and when you're in and again, when I'm speaking from industry, from what I've experienced. I can only speak for me, but I can kind of feel what certain artists go through, because we were all in it together. It might have been different versions, different ways, different journeys, but at the end of the end, we all got.
Yeah.
And that's what the whole point is. All of us, So I really personally wanted to do the deal with Puff, because I felt like he would have understood me. you know, because it's different when you got to have a voice. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like he understood the star power that they were seeing, whatever they were seeing. And
Right.
not everybody understands that. Not everybody is meant to be a producer.
No.
Not everybody's meant to be an A&R.
Nope.
And that's just the reality of it.
Embrace Pangea is hygiene, okay? So if you want to get a good clearance when you go to the dentist, get you some Embrace Pangea. And in addition to that, make sure you use my code STORM to get 10% off your order at checkout today.
You know what I'm saying? And egos, and that's the thing. It's never about the artist. It's always the ego. It's always about the other person involved. That's why I say it's like wrestling. Well, I feel it's no different if you in the ring and you making an announcement, like if you Stephanie McMahon or something, and you getting ready to say something, then somebody comes out, hold on. It's like, bro, where you? Like, it's all an act. It's all BS. You ain't got to stick your chest out for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I've seen that too many times since day one. And the reason why I think Puff appreciated me was because he seen me work. Remember, like I said earlier, Kim Porter was there. She made the phone call from the photo shoot and told him about me.
About you. He had been watching you the whole time.
But see, when you're a kid, you don't understand that.
And everybody was in place to eventually to get you to him.
I met Kevin Wells, who was Worldwide, the production company that B5 was signed to, also 112. Also,
he used to work with Trey too, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Oh, you thinking about Kevin Lyles?
Oh, okay. All right, my bad.
Kevin Lyles.
Okay.
Yeah, but and that's the thing about it, man. Like, you don't think about it, but then it's like when you start putting two and two together, it's like, oh, and then it just be some crazy stuff that happens, so much to the point where Puff called my mom and was like, I'll make you a millionaire in the morning.
He was willing to sign you, give you that $1 million advance, which is what that would have been. But when you, and not saying y'all was broke, but when you are grinding, $1 million is $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
But like I was telling you before, if I offer you $1 million, you're worth 10 times that, maybe even 100.
Right.
So looking back, let me ask you, I know it didn't work out because of other circumstances, but looking back, do you wish that it could have worked out with Puffy, or are you glad it didn't work out?
Honestly, I'm glad, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad because it's all the same. It doesn't matter who the player is, it's the same game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was just happy, that he knew who I was at the time and wanted to sign me. So much he had an attitude with me because we didn't sign.
Because he really, really liked you. Like, he loved your.
That sounds weird, my G. Like, he liked me, but he did. I mean, he said, I like, the thing about it is, I'm all about charisma and personality. You know what I'm saying? I always wanted people to see that side of me. Vocally, I've been stamped since I was 9 by my family. You know what I'm saying? By the people I've sang for and the people who I know I've sung for, and people. If you heard a Trevante song, if you heard me vocally, if you've been to a concert, if you've seen me, then you know.
Yeah.
And that's that it just is what it is. And Rico Love will call me a vocal beast all the time. These people in the industry will call me this.
Oh, your vocals are like top notch. Your runs, I think that's what it's called when y'all do that stuff with the. Please tell me those are called runs.
Runs.
Okay, all right. But it's just you're an actual artist, and so it's unfortunate. You guys screwed over the way you did. I know you're gonna go in more detail in your documentary.
Mm-hmm.
So to just touch on it, your working relationship with Manny eventually came to an end.
Yes.
And an abrupt end, I would say.
It came to an end because, after the Puff thing, you know, that was just crazy. We signed to Geffen Records. We shoot, you know, a couple videos, and none of the records got paid for. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reality of it. You know, you do these records, and you working with all these great people, Tank, and you know, all just underdogs, Dark Child, all these different people, but the business isn't being handled.
So you're telling me you cutting records, you in the studio, which we know is not cheap. Them engineers that studio time. I mean, hell, Cardi B was drugging niggas just to get the money to do it. So I know it, I know it ain't cheap. So how were they just not getting paid?
Hey, you know, I mean, they got paid when, in my opinion, it was too late, or when it was just like last minute type of thing. See, everything I did up until that point was sporadically.
Okay.
You know, I'm used to scheduling and knowing what we doing. Sell Some Records had our stuff tight, and I'm just saying, as far as organization and you know knowing what you're doing, and we had that stuff right. You know, but when we got with you know the majors and everything, it changed. I can't tell you one major label meeting that I've had. Like sat down and like, okay, from January to December, this is the Trevante rollout. This is what we doing for 6 months. We gonna do this. We gonna go on the radio. There was never any of that.
Wow.
Never any of it, you know. But yes, I went in the studio. Yes, I worked with all these great people and had plenty of songs. Got to, you know, make some relationships, and it was awesome. You know what I'm saying? From that perspective, you know what I'm saying. But the business, the artist always suffers.
And who was in charge of your business at that time? It was Manny.
Imani Entertainment. That was the company that I was, you know, with, and then their deal was with Geffen, so he still had control over the situation.
So signed to a nigga that signed to a nigga.
Signed to a nigga that signed to a nigga, and, you know. But that nigga over there mad. We ain't forgot about that nigga over there.
Yeah.
He, you know, he wanted to do something. Sylvia Rome was interested. Universal laid out the ghetto red carpet for me. You know what I'm saying? And put my picture by Taylor Swift.
Oh man.
I walk in the you know office and the label, and they playing my songs and jamming to it. And you can tell when people are being fake, but you can also tell when it's like, nah, they really rocking with it.
Yes. Yeah, because I've even seen it, right? The artist is playing this music and they're kind of like, but then when they play your music and you got people like it's a whole nother feeling. And so
yeah.
Well, now let me back up. Okay. Why did you decide to go with Geffen over somebody like Universal?
Why did I decide?
Manny decided. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Oh no.
Man.
Oh, nah. It ain't my decision.
Manny decided.
And that's the thing about it. I wanted to go with Universal. After that meeting, it was either Bad Boy, Universal for me. And you know, I remember one of the Lippman brothers, which is one of the presidents at the time of the company, they were like, Trevante, man, you know, Taylor Swift is here, Prince is here. They were just naming all these artistic artists. And they were just like, we would love to have you. We would love to have you here. We get it. We want to, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, wow, you know, because I never wanted to be in one box, you know what I'm saying? And I needed somebody to understand that, you know. I never cared about looking stupid. I still don't care. Never cared about, oh, well, he thinks this. And I never followed the crowd. You know, at 13, 14 years old, I was putting Spice Girls in my show and different things because I could.
Are you struggling with hair growth issues? Or are you ready to finally be able to actually put your hair in a real ponytail and not that little knob? Have you found that beauty supply products leave your hair dry, flat, useless, and dull? And are you ready for a change? And if you are, you need to try some Moo Moo Grease. This product was created for us And nothing will change about your hair if you don't change your regimen. This product can be used in old people, young people, it doesn't matter. The products are 100% vegan, and all of the information for moo grease is down in the description box below.
You have to know who you are and own it.
Yeah, you were never trying to be somebody else.
Never. You
And
know what
I
I'm
get
saying?
that. And let me ask you to this. You might have already said it, but I'm be honest with me, man. To this day, based on how things ended with Manny, you tell me there's no animosity between you and him.
Of course.
Okay.
Like between us,
yeah.
No, I mean it's just like you got me. You're good. You good. But then it's like
just asking.
It's like you got me. You know what I'm saying? Like I could see if it just happened to me, then I'd really be like, all right, man, somebody give me a bat. I'm about to go DDT somebody. You know what I'm saying?
TLC. Yeah, we finna TLC.
Right, exactly. Because I'm a Gemini too. So like left eye. So
oh shit. I don't want no Trey, let me tell you right now. When you go Gemini, I don't want no smoke. I'm sorry for anything I may say to offend any of your personalities in advance.
We get it bad, man. We get it bad. But yeah, but if it just would have happened to me, then but that's why I say everybody has similar situations, whether it was, some of the things I went through, whether it was overexposure, not enough exposure, like my case, and people dropping the ball in certain situations. Everybody happened. Like what happened to Marshawn? What happened to Khalil? What happened to Jacob Lattimore? What happened to Juwan Harris? What happened to Trevante? What happened to B. Smith? What happened musically? Where's our album? Every last one of us were signed to major labels from 2008 to 2013. No album. OMG Girls, no album.
No, very true.
Nobody even knows. I co-wrote Where the Boys At for OMG Girls.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, who else have you been
with? Edric Miles and Zeke Lewis from The Clutch.
Okay. Nice. So okay. I now that you said it that way, I can understand because I ain't the only one that got ripped off. The details of the ripation, I'm gonna leave it for your documentary. Unless you want to say it here, it's up to you.
I'll just say that when you find out that your budget money is being spent on things that oh, so it should have went to that video, but it went here instead. A lot of money being taken out of your budget for other things. It's a little fucked up.
I call it straight thievery. You're taking money that's for me for some excuse me, sir.
I mean, and that is just messed up because it's like young artists go in there, and that's what I was saying about the cooning. You don't know you cooning at the time, but if you in the offices and you dancing and singing, you doing all this shit for these older people, and they make a decision on what it's like, bro. I've already been stamped. I've already been approved by God. I've already been approved by my family. I already have people who can vouch. I'm here.
Yes.
I'm here in front of you.
Yes.
And now you telling me you hold the key to my future? I think not.
But you got to understand, you're taking, and I think I told your mom this, you have a God-given gift that you now have to navigate and sustain a living for yourself in a satanic industry.
Absolutely.
So it's almost as if it can't work and you keep your morals at the same time.
It's it's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
I mean, it is some good things that come out of it. Like I said, I don't want to make it where it was just super terrible because I did, more people have heard of me or seen me because of that. Like I said, I got a chance to work with legendary people, platinum producers and writers and, all that 106 and the whole 9. But at the same time, I already had a story before that.
Okay.
And that's what I don't think they cared about. It didn't matter. Now, mind you, they came to us. I remember when, my mom was showing Manny the press kit, EPK, we would flip and, show them what we had done up to that point, the articles and the charts and all that. They were impressed with that because we had did that on our own. This wasn't made up. We had a lot of people coming to the table just off of the strength of these 2 kiddie songs that we were doing, but because the confidence was there, the charisma, and we moved like we knew what we were doing, and we were getting people, we were getting fans. They would shut shows down. People, we do certain shows with certain artists, and they say, hey, well, you can't sell, your shirts and your merchandise because you're taking away from the crowd, because everybody's coming to your table and leaving the show, and people take certain props or certain things that you have on your show, major artists, and you're looking like, wow, this is at 11, 12. So it doesn't change. You know what I'm saying? So with Manny, he did a lot of, crazy stuff, but he did a lot of good stuff too. I met a lot of people, introduced me to a lot of people, and I will say he believed. He just wanted to get it.
He just wanted to do what he wanted to do. That would make sense why Keisha Cole separated from him.
A couple times, but Keisha, they fam, they get back, and I'm not the only one who, you can just do your research of who he's been in business with and who has separated and what had, a complaint or whatever. I'm not saying nothing off the wall shit. I mean, it's been out there as far as, his character. But I was his first artist, his first real artist. He was working with other people and consulting with other people and was throwing his name, but I was signed to his label. So I got to experience another side.
So if you or someone you love has been affected by Manny, come to the Storm on table.
Right, come forward. Or I mean, listen, it's a lot of Manny's.
Yes, it is.
It's a lot of Manny's. That's just his name. I'm gonna call him Chives.
It's a lot of them.
It's a lot of Chives out there. It's a lot of Big Reds and Shugs and that's the whole industry. But like I said, if you a kid, people don't know how much pressure that is, man. They don't know. They don't know, So, man, it's just crazy when you think about it and reflect. And this whole thing really came about, to be honest, this year. I was on tour with Jacquees, the group Love City. We sung backgrounds for Jacquees as well as opened up for the show. And that's just another conversation within itself, the history that myself and Jacquees has is along with the group, and it's really funny, so
deep too. It's very deep.
Yeah, we were on this tour and I kind of had like a moment, like we just got to LA, we're on the bus, we're pulling up to the venue, and right when we pulled up, it announced that Kobe died. It was announced, and I snapped. Like I snapped in a way, but it was like I was kind of like, I was just having a rant because it was also the same day as a Clive Davis party.
So Kobe died on the same day as a Clive Davis party?
And if it wasn't the day, it was it was the Grammys.
Oh shit. And then they already had they were able to pull together a tribute really quick.
I never understood it. I looked at, when they did with Mike and they did with this person and that person, I'm like, yo, it's fast.
I know, really fast, almost as if it was playing. You see my nails?
I see it. Yeah. So,
okay.
But so I had a moment. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of let it out on the bus, and everybody was kind of looking at me like, Trey's crazy.
Are you living a hectic and stressful life? Between the news and racial stress and trauma, do you find yourself feeling alone and anxious? If so, join our community, Mind, Body, Faith. and learn how to establish daily practices that aid in healing the mind, body, and spirit, like meditation, yoga, prayer, breath work, and journaling. Pause and let your spirit breathe by using our meditation prayer cards and meditation candles when you need to reconnect with God. Start on your new path by taking our meditation quiz, because it's always a good time to meditate with God.
You know, and I lost, you know, the desire for it, because this industry is built on a lot of desire as well. And then, you know, having conversations with Pride, you know, from Mind's Behavior, Carnell from B5, and different people, we were just kind of talking about the lineage and different eras. And I got inspired, and I was just like, you know what? We all got fucked over, man. Like, like in our own way. You know what I'm saying? You know, but at the same time, it was like going to school. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just learning. You know what I'm saying? So now you got the tools and you know what to do now. So it's how you look at it, but no, man, like it was a lot of things that could have been prevented if people actually cared about the artist or kid.
Yes. You could have actually had your own lane. You could have actually really got this paper out here. You could have actually been bigger than Justin Bieber, had people just allowed you to be you and not trying to make you a photocopy or prototype of something else. And speaking of that, tell us all the people you've been compared to and how you've had to fight that throughout your career too.
A lot of people, platinum artists. And it's funny when you compare, you know, somebody to somebody, again, you need to know, you got to know like what you're talking about. Or if it even makes sense, because, you know, that's what we do as people. If I see an artist who gives me a you know, light voice and like Tinashe, I'm like, oh yeah, she reminds me of, she could be the new Maya. She could be the you know what I'm saying? You can always put that on somebody, but it's like, what if her and Maya actually had a conversation that you don't know about?
Mm-hmm.
What if Maya liked her? Of course, I'm just using this as an example. You know, Maya's an OG, but I'm just saying. What if she was in, you know, what if Maya came out after Tinashe? Just for example. And people like, when they see Tinashe, they'll be like, yo, you remind me of Maya.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, that's cool, but I've been doing this for 5 years. I just found out about Maya last year.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
And once they put that on you, it's hard to get that comparison off. I remember even there was a singer, her name is Chantel.
Mm-hmm.
And dang, what was that song she had? Impossible, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But she was getting compared to Rihanna because they're both from the islands, and it's like she's not Rihanna.
Right. Yeah, and they always got to compare you, and that's I think what they did with all of us. You know, they tried to put us in that Chris pop thing, and with me, I made it clear, you know, that this is, you know, I love, you know, the falsettos and the El DeBarges and all that. You know, Greg Williams from Switch is one of my mentors. You know what I'm saying? El DeBarge helped me when I was a baby.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So again, that's in me. So I never looked at it like, you know, people have said a lot. You know, of course, you get the, you know, the I think the most I've heard is like, as of late, it's like August. You know.
And they think every light skinned dude with curly hair, they just think y'all all the same. It's like, no.
Yeah. I mean, because when I was younger, they would say Bow Wow and Lil Fizz. You know, I had the ponytail. Then you get older, I heard a lot of Marcus Houston, and you know, it just somebody always have something to say. But it's very important to know, because you know, people have, you know, planted certain seeds that won't show up till later. Just because you didn't see it being planted doesn't mean that it's not there.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. And as an artist, it has to suck because you're like, I'm not August. Nothing against homie, but I'm not him. I'm not. I'm Trey. Just
Right.
just
I'm
let me be
Trey,
me.
and I was Trey from 11, 12, all the way up till 16 when I worked with Troy Taylor, and he said we already have a Trey in this industry, and I became Trevante, which is my real name, but you know, and that's how it happened. And once I became Trevante, Trey kind of fell to the background. It was almost like Fresh Prince and Will Smith. Fresh
Yeah.
Prince was the edge and more unapologetic. Just I'm gonna do what I feel, say what I feel, wear what I feel, yada yada yada. Will Smith was a little bit more cleaned up, a little bit more polished as an artist. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
as a rapper or whatever. So it was kind of like that in a sense, but I didn't realize who, the people that were looking at Trevante. I never looked at it like that because as a creative, you don't think of it like that. You don't be like, oh, I'm going to do this so they can be inspired by this. No, you don't think about it at the time. You just doing what you feel. It's not until later it's like, wow, I inspired you. It's okay to say that. I
Yeah.
have no problem saying that. I have
Yeah.
no problem saying I'm inspired by the people I'm inspired by. But when it comes to little old Trevante and T-Style and the 106 days, and for some reason that kind of gets skipped over.
Yes, it
It's a
does.
lot of stuff I could say. It's a lot of advice and influence that I've put out there from different artists who I see. People who were in our era and people who weren't in our era, And I feel like the thing with, it's a little bit closer because we were actually under the same umbrella at one point. We were on the same team at one point, So, and I just didn't understand I never had a problem with him because I didn't know him.
Of course. I mean, and you're not going to have a problem with somebody that, although the industry will a lot of times just try to pit you two guys against each other so that y'all can have beef so you can sell more records that way.
Ain't nobody pitting. You start feeling like, okay, it must be something personal. Or because you say, if I meet you and you tell me I don't fuck with no R&B niggas, and this is my first time meeting you,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm like, cool. But that's cool. I don't have a problem if you don't like me. I'm just not a cup of tea. Cool. But if you say that, stand on that. But I shouldn't then hear from the head of the label, the manager, that you used to study me. You used to blow your manager phone up and say, oh, Trevante's on 106 again. When is it my turn? I don't know.
You used to do this.
This is what I was told. No, it ain't got it. Like, this is what I was told by the head of the label at that time. This is when I'm in Bluff City. I'm in Bluff City at this point when we crossed paths. I met him before. I met him at my mentor's house. He introduced. He said I was with another OG R&B young singer who paved the way. And I was talking to him coincidentally about my contracts, about my deal. And I'm just like, what do I do? What should I do? He gave me his advice. And my mentors came in and said, hey, I want y'all to see this video. Tell me what you think about this artist. He just got signed to Def Jam. Played the video.
Wow.
And I liked it. I have no problem. If I'm inspired by something, if I like something, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say that. Because that's what it should be about. It should be about uplifting each other and going out on tours and doing songs with each other. That's what I thought. You know what I'm saying? But it's clicked up and or no click at all. It's just F you, F this, and I've always been to myself. Always. I was the dude, you do the show. I was never like, okay, what's the move after this? No, I get off stage, sign the autographs, do my job, I'm gone.
And that I can relate to, man. It's like when it comes to the parties and oh, you got to be around this person. Oh, you gotta. I don't really care to do that. Like, let me do my job and let me go home. So I can relate to that. Not on your level, of course.
No,
But
I get
with bloggers, it's weird. So I get that.
Yeah, it just wasn't my style.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to, hang out sometime, I would, but I was just, I would just do my thing and leave. I would be in the studio. That's how I, got to write. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, OMG Girls, Jacob Lattimore, these, I was writing back then. Nobody else in that era can say that. None of the other young artists can say that. Yeah. So I chose to put myself in a different place. You understand? Like, that person may have did something over there that I didn't do, but I also did something as well.
Okay.
And that's the thing about it. And if you're inspired, and if you watched, cool. If you didn't watch, you might have watched and said, okay, well, I like the music. I don't like him, but I like the music. That's fine. Or maybe say, well, I like him, but I ain't feeling the music, or whatever. But the point is, it's out there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's out there, and I can see that. I see when, even to the point where, I remember doing something on the pre-show at 106. I was super hyped because I was really, if you go back and watch Brandy in her early stages of her career at the like award shows, and how she was so geeked up to be there and smiling and cheesing. I was that person.
Yeah.
You know why? Because inside you really want to smile. You like, I've worked hard to get here. I've watched this person and this person. So I was the guy that was really happy to be there. But no, everybody else, too cool, can't smile.
That's crazy. You can't just be yourself and just be happy. You can't live in the moment. Like you have to live in the moment because it goes by so fast, and you look back like, damn, I didn't even really let myself enjoy that because I was just worried about the next. So that's crazy.
Yeah, it's so backwards, man. It's so backwards. It's like if you're a follower, then you're cool. But if you say, you know what, I want to go this way, y'all. Let's see what's over here. Then you consider lame, corny. If I don't go get whatever's hot right now, I'd be considered lame or corny. Yeah. Like, people didn't like the fact that I walk around with wrestling belts.
Because they don't get it, but they don't get it. That's why they just don't. They're like,
right?
Why? I mean, yeah,
right. I don't get you wearing the purses,
but it ain't for you to get. That's what they like, and you were.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I don't. It's a lot of things I don't get.
Yes,
a lot, but I don't say anything. But for some reason, when I do something to a certain group of people, it's like, nah. Like, I had artists tell me, and he was like it's just funny, like, because you're like, what I do, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not even on no victim shit. Like, I'm sure I've done, I'm a freak. I say it first. You know what I'm saying? I'm a freak. I'm a Gemini, and I've always been a freak. I've always been weird, but I own my shit.
Yeah,
that's the point. I'm comfortable with who I am. So I don't feel the need. If you're in a higher position than me, I don't see the need for you to throw, you can tell me it's not a problem, but I feel it.
Yeah.
I remember being at the 106 pre-show doing certain things, certain movements, and then I look at another artist and he does the same movements.
So who do you feel is copied off of you?
I feel like you should look at some comments if you look at anything about me as far as, the stuff that people say.
Yeah.
It's clear as day. Now, guess what? Did I have tattoos? No.
No.
Was I talking about the hood? No. Was I smoking in my videos? No. But I was first. And whatever ideas I put out there, somebody seen it.
And they took it and ran. Well, tried to run with it. But yeah.
So and it's fine because, but my thing is put some respect on my name.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And so I think now what's important to touch on is because the audience, your fans are gonna have some questions. So I'm gonna just shoot these off, just breeze them off. Okay, you let us know. All right, first off, ladies are gonna want to know: are you single, dating, married? What's the story?
So I don't know. I'm kind of just looking. I'm in a place where I just wanna. If it makes sense, then I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just at a different place. I don't want no games, no BS. I'm ready to lock down and have kids in the next year too.
Okay, so he's looking. So ladies, he's looking. So submit your cat facts resumes. So I'm kidding. Okay, but no. All right. So then next, I would have to ask you, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Where do I see myself in the next 10? God willing, still alive, just creating. I want to work with people. Like I said, I'm in a group, and to be honest, that's a whole nother conversation. We'll get into that. We need to have the fellas on here because what happened to R&B groups? That's a whole nother conversation.
Yes.
But Bluff City is still here. BC3, we here.
Nice.
We've been here before I came in the group. I came in the group 2014, and we've been doing things, and that's a crazy story. And I'll be talking about that in the documentary as well. But to answer your question, still creating. I like being behind the scenes, man. I want to just write for people, vocal produce, and arrange. I want to work with Anne-Marie.
Okay.
I want to work with. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Where's our stars? Our superstars?
We don't really
have some.
Yeah, we don't really have them anymore. I'm trying to think when it comes to singing, who's a superstar? Okay, you got Beyonce, you got Rihanna.
But like they've been here.
Yeah, okay, here's the difference. We don't really have as many superstars now because the development left. People don't want to develop. Mm-hmm. Same thing with models. We don't really have supermodels because they don't really have to go through what the OG people went through. So that's what I think. That's what I think.
Yo, I swear, they might as well just tell people from the jump, hey, just come be a sex slave and just you can have whatever you need because it's so funny. It's just so funny.
Yeah,
they're funny. But yeah, I'm only asking that because again, growing up and see the reason why I go so hard for the OGs, for the younger artists, because they help shape what we have now and what we had. You understand?
Yes.
It's hard to mention 3LW not being one of the best groups in our generation because of what they did. 3LW planted the seed.
Yes.
But out of that came Cheetah Girls. You understand? Out of that came other groups. Girlicious and all this. If you gotta don't think just because it was a Disney or Raven Simone. No. They were still grown.
Yeah. Yeah, they were.
Mary-Kate and Ashley. These people, I feel for these people. That's all I'm saying. I feel for them. That's why I go so hard for the young stars, because you'll never know what they went through. How the hell you gonna tell me that your baby got talent at 6 months? Stop it. Cut it out.
Your baby's a baby. But if you
Cut it
know
out.
but if you know certain people, if you're willing to do certain things, if you're willing to set your children up to go through certain things later,
Mhm.
then it kind of works. Because think about it this way. This tell you how racist the industry is too. Mary Kate and Ashley went on to make what, hundreds of millions, if not billions, now with their name.
Mhm.
Why T and Tamara didn't have the same success?
Let's talk about it.
Asia, your skin looks amazing. What are you doing?
Thanks, girl. I discovered these life-changing products called Shaw's Creations. I've been using their toning up package, and it has really made a big difference. And they have products for everyone. So if you have dark spots, stretch marks, acne, pimples, sun damage, psoriasis, eczema, or age spots, anything, they have products for you. So you should call them today.
I'm going to call right now.
Call 240-288-3414. That's 240-288-3414. Or visit shawscreation.com.
What was the difference between and to keep it real, Tia and Tamara were way prettier because the Olsen twins are not that cute. Truthfully.
T and Tamara were the culture. Taj Mari, smart guy.
Yes.
Jason Weaver, smart guy. Lion King. This is what I'm talking about. Family matters.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to appreciate what we have.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So when people clown that era and the Bow Wows and these, let me tell you something. Everybody lame. Bow Wow has made enough of he is a legend. He can be lame for the rest of his life. That's cool. You know why? Because everybody says that about Drake. That's all day. That's not a everybody says that, oh, Drake, like Chris, it's not everybody does lame things. It is what it is.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to remember, he was 5 years old in this industry. I told you I was 11.
Yeah.
He was 5.
He was 5. He never and he didn't have I mean, you still at least had your parents there. He was pretty much sent off to,
the wolves.
To the wolves. So yeah, and we see how that turned out. So I just, like I said, people clown him now because of a few things he went through. Yes, because he's short too. He deals with that.
Yeah, short people always get picked on a little bit more.
And then when we wig out, people say we got a problem, but y'all created the problem.
Crazy.
I'm kidding. But no, you gotta respect Bow Wow. You gotta respect Soulja Boy. You gotta respect the people that did it. Tia and Tamara. To me,
Soulja Boy should be a billionaire.
He should be, but he had a shitty deal.
And he wrote and produced the song. And see, they don't tell you about trademarking your name. They don't tell you about performance rights organizations. They don't tell you about every time you step on the stage, even if it's a song that nobody has heard of, you get a check.
Yes.
They don't tell you that.
They don't tell you that. And other people take your money. You know what I'm saying?
They don't tell you that.
They don't. And they clown you. Because think about how, I was starting to echo. Think about how, like, even when Soulja Boy is now his entrepreneur stuff, and he gets clowned for that.
Right.
It's crazy.
I did my video game. And, get that shit out of here. You know why he went crazy and said that? Because he feels the way I feel. He feels the way Mom's Behavior probably feels. He feels the way all the young artists kind of feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Of course, and I ain't did shit compared to, Soulja and all them. But what I'm saying is, these people got to get their roses, man.
They got to. They should. Because
they should. And like I said, I want you to take away from this, and whoever, you don't have to like me, you don't have to understand me, but you will respect me because I'm taking my respect. And that's what you got to do in this industry. They don't tell you that either. They don't tell you that's the secret. Take your respect. People be put in these positions because they want to be put in these positions. Like I said, when that shirt was already in the room waiting on me, they planted that there to see what I would do.
Were you going to be that? Because believe me, once you wore that shirt, then that was going to send off some signals to other people to say, okay, he's willing to do that. Now let's see if he does this.
I mean, the first question Puff asked me was, do you like girls?
And you were how old?
I was 16.
There you go.
16. You know, so I mean, and not that I gave him any type of vibes. He just wanted to see where my head was.
He was just asking you, yeah.
Yeah, he asked, and I laughed. I'm like, like he's funny. He's looking at me like,
not dead ass. You like girls? What you like?
Mm-hmm. And of course, I told him like, hey, yeah, I like girls. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and then it went somewhere else. You know, that I'll touch on later. You know what I'm saying? And you know, but it's and that's the thing about it, man. You know, I just do what I do. I love to be inspired. I love to create. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about for me. So when I see certain artists and they act like they don't hate or they don't care, and it's okay. And if you don't care, that's fine. But I'm giving you a reason to care because you might not like me, but you like him, and he likes me. You were inspired or influenced by me. That's the whole point of the tree of what lineage you come from. Where do you stand? I know where I stand. Like I said, I didn't make this up. When I first met dude, I felt a little bit of me in his personality. Kind of standoffish, kind of like an asshole, because I can be sometimes. So I was like, you know, trying to be cool, like, what's up? Like, we are here at the studio at my mentor house. I don't know if he was your mentor or whatever, but it's like, hey, we are here. And we actually cut a record. That never came out. It was rough, you know what I'm saying? Just messing around, but we cut it. So I don't understand why when I joined Bluff City, now we're over there, you have a problem. Records that it's been sitting there for years or for a while, you don't want to cut, but the moment Bluff get their hands on it, now you got a problem with it. Or records that Bluff had that you cut, like, and named your whole project. Like, why? Why would you come in and mind fuck one of the group members and intentionally try to break us up? That's how I felt.
Why would August do that? Well, I mean, I guess I can say intimidation, because if you can see a good thing, see, the thing is, people feel, and maybe this is the industry that can't nobody make you feel no kind of way, but puts this fear in artists that you can't be great and he can't be great at the same time. It's you and him. So you got to do whatever you got to do to take them out.
Yeah, but you know, that's bullshit though. Like, that's right, but it's bullshit, because it's like, it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah,
it shouldn't. It's like, if you inspired by me and I'm inspired by you, what's the problem? There's enough room. You know what I'm saying? Was Usher worried about Genuine? Was Genuine worried about Usher?
No.
Donnell Jones?
Nope.
We can keep going. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand this. It's a very emotional ass business. Being signed over there was the most emotional thing I went through in this whole industry. Just emotions, just feelings. And I'm like, this is not business.
It's high school. It's a popularity contest. It's all about who you screwing, who you know, who you kiss ass up to.
Period. And I'm not finna do it. Yeah. Never did. Never will. I can proudly say that.
Yeah.
You know, and if you have, we've never had a one-on-one in that sense. And just, what's the issue, man? No. And is it needed? Probably not. He don't owe me anything.
Right.
This is just my truth. This is what was told to me. This is what I've seen. This is what I know. So people might look at this and say, oh, well, he's hating, or he's trying to get clout. I don't care, because if you don't know me, what's the clout? I'm speaking my truth. I could have been said some things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is just do your research. All you got to do is just know. If you know, then you know. That's why I say 3 eras. That's what the whole thing is about. And in those 3 eras, I've seen a lot, from the B5 days and music choice and all those situations to the last era of 106 in Park. The last era. Think about it. That was it. That was it, you know.
Yeah. After 106 in Park went away, the platform for a lot of urban artists, it was just gone. Because other than that, I mean, we had TRL back in the day, but TRL wasn't strictly urban.
Nope. For young Black artists, you had to go to 106 in Park.
You had to, yeah.
And let's keep it real. It's not like the young artist that was out at the time had Billboard #1s and was getting hella radio play. No. You went to 106 in Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have gotten some radio spins here and there, and you know what I'm saying, other artists and stuff like that. It's only 2 artists that put albums out, Mindless and Diggy. No OMG Girls, no My Shine, no Lil Twist, no Khalil. And let me be clear, I'm not friends with some of these people. We're cool. Right. So I don't want to be like, oh, why are you speaking? No, I'm speaking because this is about the era. I'm not trying to speak for nobody, but this is just what I see, because I can speak on this because I was a part of it.
Right.
You understand? So I'd have respect for these artists. I was cool with Juwan. We were really cool. I was cool with Jacob, and you know, we see him in passing. It's all love. Mindless. It's all love. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? So I'm speaking on this because we were all in the same boat, man. Like I could see if it, like I said, if it was just my album, I'd be like, well, shit, maybe I just wasn't good enough. Maybe the records wasn't hot enough. It's not that.
It's not that.
It's not that.
I tell you what, if you would have had the internet we have now back then, you could have did all that on your
own. Exactly. And that's the crazy thing. Remember, I come from the independent world, but if I'm signing to a major and this and that, I'm supposed to be good. At least that's what you think. You done did the groundwork.
Yeah.
That's how you feel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. At least that's how you feel. So
before you realize, oh shit, I'm a slave and now I gotta work even harder and give up more of my money.
Even harder. And it's not about it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't really matter. Just do what we want you to do. Like it sucks, man. You know, and it's BS. And that's why I say, for the artist who is able to get anything out of this, relationships, experience, you know, it's a lot, man. It's a lot that come with this, because you're giving up your childhood. You're giving up going to schools. You're giving up having friends. You can't trust nobody in this game. No. Every time I had people who I thought were my friends, they turned on me. You know, never. Like I said, the people I have who are close to me been there since day one. Yeah. Everybody else, I don't have all that fake. Oh yeah, you eat.
And for me, like I could put myself in your shoes and be like, it's hard for me to even fake a friendship. It's like, if I'm not feeling you, then I don't have nothing to say to you. But then people kind of feel like, well, it's something wrong with you if you don't want to be fake friends with somebody I know that's fake from the beginning. So I don't want to waste my time.
Exactly. It's awesome bullshit, because you okay, so be fake and then what? How long do you keep up the charade? How long? Like you know what I'm saying? Like, what does being fake get you? Because it's not real.
Yes.
So that means when the cameras come off, you could get 2 fucks about me. I don't need people like that around. That's a job.
Yes. That's a job.
It's a job. It's cool. Like, and it's cool, you know, like, and another thing I want to touch on too, for all, you know, if you're a young artist, put yourself in a opening act shoes. You know, when I mentioned the wrestling, you know, things and all that, everything you do, you have to overcome obstacles. It could be something as simple as get up, we got to go do the showcase. Your hair not even done.
Yeah.
And now you got to go make these people look good and yourself.
Yeah.
It's not about you. They'll tell you that it is, but it's not. Because if it was, lay all the contracts out. Okay, I like this deal. I like this deal. Never happened. I like this song. I like that song. Yeah, you listen, but you're going to do what you want to do. I remember saying all the time, if we can't do it right, let's not do it at all. If we can't have the push, meaning if we're going to just, drop the video on 106, but there's no campaign to go to back it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, then it's like, what are we doing? And then you got a point too, because it's like you only got so many chances, and so you don't want to be the guy where you put stuff out and then it's flopping. I mean, you basically what happened to Sierra at the end. You don't want that to happen where you're putting out all this stuff, they're not promoting it enough because they're really done with you.
Right.
And now it's just like, well, shit, this was some of my best work, but now y'all looking at it like it's a flop. It's crazy.
Yeah. Right. Well, at least I could say about Sierra, at least she had an album. She had 2-3 albums. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing we got to remember. 85-95% of the artists that came out during that time did not put out albums, but yet they got you working with Chris. They got you working with Tank. They got you working with all these people. And like I said, we might have been working with similar people. I worked with Eric Bellinger early, awesome artist. Harmony, H Money, awesome producer.
Yeah.
Went on to do Ariana Grande and all this shit. You know what I'm saying? But again, at the time, that was new. Like I said, when I worked with Chris, that was new. Like, I don't know, maybe Juwan and them were working with him as well, but I worked with him that same year, and it felt like he was more vulnerable because he was going through things. You know what I'm saying? And he understood me. You get what I'm saying? The artists, if you in the studio with the producers, you chopping it up, laughing, whatever, making jokes, like, yeah, they're gonna get you. But maybe not everybody else. You know what I'm saying? When you go back to the label, you're like, yeah, this is it. I found the sound. They don't want to hear that.
Okay. So basically the little people in the game are used to keep the top people at the top.
I learned very early, big fish eat little fish.
Gotcha. There it is. So yeah, you get to work with Chris, and it's like, oh my God, this is Chris, and you think it's gonna lead somewhere, and they don't never have plans to put you in the same position as Chris. You're just there to keep Chris going.
To keep and that and other artists, and just to keep everything going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Our era is no different than Mario and B2K and 3LW, and it's just a different perspective. You know what I'm saying? Corey, it's eras of this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because remember, like, it just keeps going. It never stops, is what I'm saying. And you like, think about it. No artist gets in this industry to be like, I'm gonna get shelved.
No, that's not.
I'm gonna get dropped. I'm gonna work hard and no.
That's
and by the way, the reason why that happened was because, I found out later that a lot of money was taken. A lot of money was taken. That I didn't even believe at the time. I'm like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? And you look at other people and you like, okay, well, I just want to be heard out. Like I said, if I would have came out and sold 10,000 units, that's cool. You can still build on that.
Yeah, you can.
But that never happened. But at the same time, I'm thankful and I'm blessed for the experiences, because I know what it was like. I performed at Madison Square Garden when I was a kid. Opened up for Blackstreet and After 7, Tony. This is as Lil Trey.
Yeah.
So I was able to see things early. So when we got to the BET tour with Tyga and Lil Twist and Diggy, it was like we were going up. You know what I'm saying? We were doing, certain venues, and this was everybody's first tour, like, Mindless, and it was the coming out party. And that's the great thing about that tour, because it was all new artists. Tyga didn't have Rack City then. He had Deuces and Bedrock and the Young Money joints.
Right.
And
And even he really didn't get, I feel like, the promotion he should have, to be honest. So
nobody did. And then another thing, everybody had a different cosign. If you look at that time, and just go back and look, certain artists had Chris in their video, had songs with Chris. Yeah, Chris wrote 2 songs for me, but he wasn't in my videos.
it's a good point.
I did a record with Soulja Boy. I've known Soulja Boy since I was 14, 15, somewhere in there, probably younger. Yeah. But he wasn't in the video. Everything that you've seen and that was influenced and that I brought to the table was me. That's a very important thing.
Or they had Lil Wayne in the video. You didn't have that. Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody has somebody. So even going on that tour, it was just me. I'm opening up. I got 15 minutes, but I got 15 minutes off of one song.
Yeah.
Everybody else had at least 3-4 videos out. I had one video. So it's like I am the underdog. And I'm sure everybody else kind of felt like that in their own way. But when you are starting the show off and you're there to ignite it and say, okay, you setting the bar.
Yes.
So whatever you do after that, and we did that very well. You know what I'm saying? And I always wanted people to know that I really could sing a cappella. Again, like I was saying, the whole with Rico Love was calling me and all these different great artists and producers was calling me. The very first time I was on 106, asked Trevante, Terrence and them asked me, so what can we expect from the tour? And I sang Lady in My Life, Michael Jackson.
Okay.
And showed them, hey, I can sing a cappella. So as far as I was concerned, it's like, hey, you can go listen to the music. You can hear me. You can hear the influences. It is what it is. But I always knew when it was time to perform, you got to give people a show.
Yeah, you do. You do. You really do.
A show. And again, being on that tour and seeing things, being an opening act, it's tough. It's tough, but to go out there and to do your thing and to get a positive reaction, it's not easy because you had certain artists on the show who may not have gotten that. And they were in a better, it looked like they were in a better position than me at the time, But it's a lot of things that was going on behind as far as like, again, the influence, And I know, it might sound crazy if you don't know, but if you know.
If you know, you know.
Now you know, nigga.
So I will say it's definitely been good getting to hear your story. Can't wait until your documentary comes out, because then we're gonna get like all the juicy details, but we gotta leave them some to, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I think before we head out, tell everybody where they can find you first. So where can they find you now to connect with you?
You can connect with me at Loverboy_Trevante. By the way, my artist name is Loverboy Trey. I'm in Bluff City. If you don't know who Bluff City is, look us up. If you probably heard us on, doing stuff with Jacquees. We did the Soul Train Awards with him back in 2018. We're on his King of R&B album with Quavo.
Nice.
And before that, we had a top 20 song on Billboard Urban AC called Let Me Show You. It's like a, baby, you got me. If you need me now, I'll come hold you. I'm not singing, but the point is, it was
no, you're good. You're good.
No, it was a song called Let Me Show You that was written and produced by Troy Taylor, along with us, Vito. You know what I'm saying? If you know Vito, the singer, So we've been doing things. And then, like I said, before that, we were signed to Noontime and, so I'm going to detail, a lot more in the documentary. It'll be out top of the year.
Nice.
But just know it's always more than what is being shown. That's the whole point of this. And young artists have a story to tell. That's the whole point about this. Like I said, when I talk about all these young artists, put them in perspective. Go back to that time and actually think about the posters on the wall. Think about when it was fun to hear new music and you had to wait out to get their CDs and you know, and whatever the case is. Now everything is so in your face and so active. There's no more mystique.
That is
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
Yes, no
No more
mystery.
mystique.
Yeah.
And there's no more personality. I want to work with a lot of these people. I want to work with Anne Marie. I want to work with all these new younger artists and help what I feel, you know, can you know, do certain things as far as quality wise.
Yes.
You know, we need quality. We're missing quality, in my opinion. You know, and that's why I love this show, because it represents quality, you know, and it represents the real. It's not no fake shit, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate you again for even allowing me to tell my story. And it's so much more to be told. I haven't really said nothing too much, you know, but I appreciate you for just listening and you know, hearing me out.
Absolutely, man. And you know, like I said, you know, you Bluff City, you guys are welcome to come on the show and tell your story as well. Sing for the people. This was a dope conversation. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that I get the opportunity to speak to others as well that were in similar positions, because it's so many of y'all that went through that. It's just like,
It's so many. That's what I'm
it's
saying.
so
It's so
many.
many. When you just go back and look at music videos from that time, you be like, dang, like what happened? Like, you
Yeah.
know, and that's the thing, it's all love with everybody. It's all about, that's what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I can't do the fake shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just tell my truth, and it is what it is, you know. And shout out to Bluff City. It's Bluff City. Follow us. You know, go check out our, you know, our project BC3 out. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. It's not about, yeah, go check out this. Like, I'm telling like real shit that, like, you know what I'm saying? Because when you come from these places, it's like, you know what? People need to hear this. You know,
Yes, they
people
do.
they need to hear it. So again, I appreciate y'all. You know.
Absolutely, man. Well, I want to thank you for coming to the show. And yeah, man, stay in touch, because when that documentary comes out, I'm sure it's going to do some big things.
Thank you so much. Top of the year. I appreciate you, Storm.
Absolutely, man. Take it easy.
All right, man.
All right. Peace.
Sure.
It's a storm show. Ay, it's a storm show.